All right, we are here for our Week 2 recap, Week 3 preview for the Sons of Saban League. Let's get right into it. Week 2, I pretty much took a bath pretty good, I think. Um, I lost. I think I called myself to win, and I lost pretty good by about 20 to Chang. Richard is 0-2, lost to Taylor by a lot, too. Taylor's team is good. Corbin, despite his injury history, is 2-0 as well. He beat Reineke, who's 0-2 at the moment. Um, Piola somehow 2-0 as usual. Um, his brother 0-2. Unfortunately, sorry man, can't help you out with Christian McCaffrey. I wish I could, I just can't do it. The last matchup we had was Greg got on the board with a win. He's 1-1. He beat James Nash by about 30 last week. So yeah, I did not expect that. Got a lot of injuries last week as well, I think. Yeah, Mixon's going to be useless, I'm sure. Jaden Reed, Jordan Love, Josh Jacobs, all useless. So that's just fucking fantastic. As usual, it's week 2, and I'm just fucked. Anyway, let's get into next week's matchups, or this week's matchups. First one we have is me versus Piola. I don't think I've ever beaten Piola ever in this league, ever. I'm projected to win by 3.2. I'm sure that's not going to happen. Right now, I'm starting Derek Carr at quarterback. Piola starting Jaden Daniels against Cincinnati. I'm sure Jaden Daniels will run for like 4 touchdowns and 5,000 passing touchdowns as well. And Derek Carr will look like the Derek Carr of old instead of what he's looked like so far this season. Kind of a crazy stat. Derek Carr has scored on every possession that he's been in for. He's passed for multiple touchdowns each game, even got a rushing touchdown last game as well against the Cowboys. So the Saints are looking great. But as Saints fans know, when good things come, bad things are sure to follow. So I feel real stupid for this, but I'm starting Derek Carr because I don't have any other quarterbacks because my quarterback got hurt in week 1 because we just had to play a game in Brazil. So anyway, I'm picking Jaden Daniels in that matchup. I'm starting Jonathan Taylor and Jordan Mason as my running backs. Alex is starting Travis Etienne and Alvin Kamara. I like Alex's running backs better. Travis Etienne is going to break multiple 99-yard touchdowns against me. Probably score about 40. Alvin Kamara is scoring 40 every week. I don't expect that to change either. I'm sure Jordan Mason will tear his Achilles. Jonathan Taylor probably an ACL. So probably lose both of them for the season as well. I like Alex's wide receivers better as well. He's starting CeeDee Lamb and Rashid Shaheed. I'm sure both of them are going to catch many long touchdowns this week. I'm starting Garrett Wilson and Rashid Rice, one of whom will probably get injured, one of whom will probably just have a low target day because of shitty game script. At tight end, I'm starting George Kittle. He's starting Kyle Pitts. It's time for Kyle Pitts to break out for the first time in 3 years, so I'm picking Kyle Pitts to just destroy George Kittle in this matchup. I'm sure Kittle will have a bad day as well. At flex, I'm starting David Montgomery, who's been pretty solid for me this year as the number 2 running back in Detroit. Alex is starting James Conner. James Conner is another one of those players that always seems to go off against me, so I'm sure he'll get about 30. I'll probably get about 6 from David Montgomery, just hoping to avoid injury there. So I like Alex's flex. Defenses, I've got 49ers going against the Rams, who are getting some help back and some weapons back. Alex is starting the Cowboys defense, who just got mollywopped and disrespected by the Saints last week, so I'm sure they'll be nice and angry and wanting to bounce back. So I like the Cowboys in that matchup. I'm taking Alex to win by 50 at least. I doubt I'm going to change my lineup around. I don't think it's going to matter. So next matchup we have Nicholas Piola, 0-2. His name is Please Trade Me a Running Back. Wish I could help you, boss. I've got 5 running backs, but it's only because I know that 2 of them are going to go down per week. He's playing against Corbin, who's 2-0 for the first time ever, maybe. Anyway, first matchup we have Dak Prescott for Nick, CJ Stroud for Andrew. I like C.J. Stroud. I think he's one of the best up and coming quarterbacks in the league. He's going to go against a shitty defense. Nick is starting Kenneth Walker at the moment and Zamir White at running back. Corbin starting Saquon and James Cook. I don't even know if Kenneth Walker is going to play, but even if he does, I like both of Corbin's better than both of Nick's. Nick is starting Devontae Adams and Marvin Harrison. Corbin starting Devontae Smith and Demarcus Robinson. I like the Demarcus Robinson play, but ultimately I think that Nick's wide receivers are better. I don't know what kind of version of Marvin Harrison we're going to get. Either the 180 yards and 3 touchdowns or the 2 yards and 1 catch. Who knows? But I think the upside's there, especially for a second wide receiver. At tight end, Nick starting Colby Parkinson. Corbin starting Travis Kelce. Probably like Kelce there just for name recognition. And got to think that the NFL is going to get him in the end zone so they can show Taylor Swift again. We'll see. Nick is starting Jamison Williams, who he wouldn't trade me. And Corbin is starting Tony Pollard at the flex position. I like Jamison Williams. Even though the Lions' passing game has been off, he's scored a lot of points. And I expect that to continue. He's been game-breaking. Nick is starting the Buccaneers defense against Denver. Corbin starting the Seahawks defense against Miami. I like the thought, and I like hedging your happiness. Corbin, I like that. I do like that. But I'm going to go with the Buccaneers. They're more talented, and they're going against Bo Nix, who is not that good. So overall, I do think it's going to be closer than people would think, but I think that Corbin gets the win. Next matchup, we have Greg and Taylor Watson. Quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson for Greg, Kyler Murray for Taylor. Probably going to like Kyler Murray. He looks like he's kind of on the come up. Lamar Jackson's, could always get you some rushing, but they always seem to kind of take it easy on him in the beginning of the year, and he doesn't really score that many points. Next matchups, we've got Kyron Williams and Ramondre Stevenson for Greg, Breece Hall and Devon Achane for Taylor Watson. I like Taylor's better. It should be obvious why. Wide receivers, we got Amon-Ra St. Brown and DK Metcalf for Greg, Mike Evans and Drake London for Taylor. Especially if St. Brown is healthy, I like Greg's better. Drake London, I'm just not ready to believe in yet, even though he got a touchdown last week. Mike Evans is always going to be good. Tight ends, Greg starting Sam Laporta, Taylor starting Zach Ertz. I haven't really paid attention to Ertz this year, but looks like he's gotten some points, gotten some targets. 4 targets every game, 4.3 and 8.2 points respectively. It's not terrible. Sam Laporta has been one of the biggest disappointments in the draft so far. Last year he led tight ends in points, and I think led the Lions in targets. He has not done so this year. He's been exceptionally disappointing, especially for the draft capital you probably had to use to draft him. Hopefully that gets sorted out. Who knows? At flex, Greg is starting Zay Flowers. Taylor starting J.K. Dobbins. I like Dobbins. He finally looks healthy. He's broken some long runs every game he's played. They seem to be committed to keeping him fresh, too, not giving him too much on his plate. So I like Taylor's flex. Greg's starting Jets defense against New England. He's also hedging his happiness. I like it, Greg. Taylor starting Chargers versus Pitt. I like the Jets. They're talented, and New England is not that good. Ultimately, I think this is going to be a pretty close matchup, but I think I'm going to take Taylor just on the strength of his quarterback and running backs. I think both Breece Hall and Devon Achane are due for a breakout even bigger than what they've done so far this year. Next matchup, we have Alan Chang versus Richard Crum. Chang is 2-0. Richard is 0-2. Quarterbacks, we have Patrick Mahomes for Chang, Joe Burrow for Richard. I've been very bearish on Joe Burrow for a long time. I just don't think he's that good, and he's injured constantly. Mahomes, with Pacheco out, you got to think that there's going to be more opportunity for passing yards. So I like Mahomes. At running back, Chang starting Rashad White and Javonte Williams. Richard starting Derrick Henry and DeAndre Swift. I kind of see this as a wash. Rashad White catches a lot of balls. Javonte Williams, bad game script, bad running back. DeAndre Swift, talented running back, not as many opportunities, but on an even shittier offense. I see those as washes too. So I think basically even on that. Chang is starting right now. He's starting Jordan Jefferson and AJ Brown. Richard starting Tyreek and Brandon Ayuk. Let's see. I'm assuming Chang that you're probably going to move Chris Godwin. Probably Chris Godwin. That's who I would do at least. Probably going to move Chris Godwin in there. So I'm going to assume Jordan Jefferson and Chris Godwin versus Tyreek and Brandon Ayuk. A week ago, I would have said easily Richards. Now I'm not saying that. I guess we'll see if Jefferson plays. A quad contusion doesn't seem like something that would keep him out. But I don't think Brown's going to play at all. Tyreek is now playing with, whatever shitty fucking quarterback Miami decides to throw out there. Ayuk still looks fat and kind of out of sorts with Brock Purdy. So I'm probably going to take Chang's wide receivers. Tight end, Chang starting Trey McBride. Richard starting Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid, I fell for the hype this offseason as well in a couple leagues. He's been awful. Trey McBride's been just as advertised, picked up exactly where he left off. I think he's going to be elite this year. Top 3 tight end. At flex, Chang starting Malik Neighbors, Richard starting Stephon Diggs. I view this as kind of upside versus consistency. And when you're starting to flex, I think you're looking for upside. So I think I like Chang's play of Malik Neighbors there. Defense, Chang starting the Steelers against the Chargers. Richard starting the Ravens against Dallas. I probably like the Ravens play here. Dallas didn't look like very good. I think they're another team that's kind of just off as far as team chemistry goes because so many people were selfish and sat out the preseason. So I'll probably take the Ravens there. I think this is going to be a close matchup as well. It would be very close projections, I think, if Chris Godwin was substituted in for A.J. Brown. But ultimately, I think I would pick... I think I'm going to pick Chang's team. Close one, though. Last matchup we have is going to be Nash 0-2 as usual. And I like that. Allen did the return of Jamar for Reineke, the battle of the 0-2 matchups. Nash has got Jalen Hurts starting at quarterback. Reineke's got Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen better. Seems like he's kind of the focal point more so of the offense than Jalen Hurts is now that Saquon Barkley's in Philadelphia. Running back, Nash has got Bijan and Aaron Jones. Reineke's got Jahmyr Gibbs and Najee Harris. Probably like Nash's better. I think both Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs are interchangeable, and Aaron Jones is more talented than Najee Harris. Nash is starting Chris Olave, and Nico Collins at wide receiver. Reineke's starting Pittman and Tank Dell. I like Reineke. I take that back. I like Nash's better simply because of Nico Collins. I don't view Reineke's wide receivers as starter quality at all. Olave, you got to worry about him, though. He has not gotten near the points that you would expect. The Saints scored like 90-something points in the first 2 games, and I don't think he has barely 15 points, which is very concerning to me if I'm an Olave owner. Tight end, James is starting Dalton Schultz. Nash is starting Dalton Schultz. Reineke is starting Mark Andrews. Looked like Mark Andrews' usage kind of ticked up a little bit last week, so I'll probably take him over Dallas, who just kind of looks discombobulated. At flex, Nash is going to be starting DJ Moore currently. Reineke starting Jamar Chase. That's obvious. I take Jamar Chase. Defenses, Nash has got Dolphins going against Seattle. Reineke's got Browns going against the Giants. Obviously like the Browns there. So this is actually, Nash is projected to win. I think this is going to be a close matchup. I really like Nash's skill position players better than Reineke's. but down towards the bottom half of the matchup, starting at the flex or starting at the tight end, I kind of like Reineke's team. So I'll probably end up taking Reineke in this matchup to get on the board. Nash falls to 0-3. So just for the record, I picked Alex to beat me by 500. Corbin's going to win his matchup against Nick. Taylor's going to win against Greg. And Chang is going to beat Richard. All right. We'll see y'all next week.